Hello everybody, welcome to the video today. Sorry I was homesick today. Natalie wasn't feeling well and you might be able to hear in the background if you listen close enough. But what we're doing today is we have the math test on Friday. So this is going to be the last video before the test. I'm going to give you a review sheet tomorrow. But I'd like you to do just a couple problems from each of these pages. Make sure you have a good understanding of everything I show you today. And if not, come to class tomorrow ready to ask questions of, these are things that I don't know, Mr. Peralta, and I need help with them. That's the only way you're going to make yourself really good at this material. So here's what I want you to do: a self-assessment on yourself. We're going to look at these. Do you know how to add, subtract negative numbers? You can do it on your own and you can explain how I do it, why I'm adding or why I'm subtracting. I can do it on my own, or I can do it if I look at an example. What about subtracting positive and negative numbers? We're describing events as it's certain to happen, it's likely, it's unlikely, very unlikely. We didn't do much of this. I'll touch on this tomorrow. Can you count cubes to find the volume of a rectangular prism? If I gave you the blocks, could you figure out how many cubes it would take to make that rectangular prism? Do you know how to use the formula to find the volume of those rectangular prisms? And can you describe geometric solids? Can you describe what makes a rectangular prism a rectangular prism? What makes a triangular pyramid a triangular pyramid? Cones, spheres, do you know the difference between those? And depending on how you are you really good at it? Can you do it on your own, or do you still need some help? You need to make sure you know on each of those, because that's what we're going to be assessing on. Pause and try these. There are your answers. Hopefully you know this. If not, come talk to me about how to round each number to the nearest tenth. What about this? What would you make the length, the width, and the height to find a volume of 24? There'd be multiple answers you could get here, but one could be the length would be, what would the volume be if I gave you this? If I gave you a length of 5, a width of 4, and a height of 2, what would your volume be? Well, I hope you would have gotten 40. Length times width, 20 times height, 20 times 2 would be 40. What about volume to find 30? Well, I might do 5 length, 3 height, and 2 width. 5 times 3 times 2 would give me 30. What about this one? What would the volume of this rectangular prism be? The length would be 3, the width would be 2, and the height would be 3. Well, I hope you got, everybody? Hope you got 18. Okay, what about these? Do you know 13 feet, how many yards and how many feet that are? I hope you got 4 yards and 1 feet. There are 3 feet in a yard, so 3 times 4 would give us 12, plus the 1 extra foot would give us 13. What about 10 yards? How many feet would that be? 30. What about 89 millimeters? How many centimeters is that? Well, how many millimeters in a centimeter? Good, there's 10. So 80 would give me 8, so it'd be 8.9. Moving forward, try these on your own. There you go. Make sure you know the relationship between inches and yards and feet. Make sure you know the relationship between millimeters and centimeters. And how many centimeters are in a millimeter, or in a meter. There are 100 centimeters in a meter. So if you got 4 of them, that's 4 out of 100, or 4 hundredths. Remember gallon man? Gallon man. Make sure you're using that to help answer the question. What about these? Make sure to write it down if you have questions for me. These are going to be on your test, I promise you. Can you tell me what geometric solid this is? Or this is? What about here? How many faces does this or pentagonal pyramid have? And put how many vertices, how many x's would this be? Okay, what about how many edges does this rectangular pyramid have? Or what's the name of the shape on this pyramid? And use this, describe it. All of these are going to be what it's going to look like in your test. These shapes, make sure you're able to determine the volume of them. Make sure you know how to do that. Practice a couple of them. What about these? This is the part of the test that a lot of people have trouble with, is knowing about weight. The box of the cereal might weigh, well, we've talked about what an ounce is worth, 16 ounces in a pound. So, is it 1/16 of a pound? Is it a little bit more than a pound? Or is it a lot of pounds? About 10 pounds for a box of cereal. Well, I'd probably say it'd be right there, this one. Okay, what about a pencil? How many grams? Remember, 1 gram was the size of one of those little rectangular cubes in the class. What about an adult female? How many kilograms? Remember Kion with the books? Each one of those would be a kilogram. So what do you think a female adult would weigh? Okay, try these here. In terms of probability, that's something we've covered in the past. What about finding the number model? What volume equals base times height? Well, you know the base is the length times the width. 7 times 9, hopefully, is 63. 63 times 3, so the base times the heights would give us what? Do the same here. Make sure you're able, no matter what the rectangular prism, if you give you these 3 numbers, are you able to find the volume? How much it takes to fill an object? Adding and subtracting negative numbers. Make sure you're good at these. There's all sorts of games online. Go to Google, type in adding and subtracting negative number games, all sorts of them. Go and try to find them. And then multiplying and dividing decimals. Pretend the decimal's not there and then put it back in. We've worked on that. Remember, there's one number behind the decimal point, so you're going to move that decimal point 1 spot. Same here. This one there's 2, so you're going to move it 2 spots. All right, guys. Thanks. Good luck to you.